Live, so bear with us for about 2 minutes, and we are going to get this all set and running momentarily, literally. Everybody is joining us. Please start sharing this now. We are actually live right now. It took a little while. Sorry if you've been waiting for 15 minutes. I hope you're still there. Share this on Twitter, on, I guess it's X now, no longer Twitter, on Facebook, on X, on Instagram, on our Facebook pages, as well as on YouTube. If you want to send in some comments, you can do so on YouTube and we'll read them. And if you want to chat with us, just let us know. Without any further ado, we're going to start the Never Again podcast series in our pre-Rosh Hashana special. As always, produced by Israel Now. We will not begin momentarily. We're going to begin right now. Remember, let's build the temple now is our message for the year for Rosh Hashanah. It's a special report tonight, and it's going to be airing right now at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 8 o'clock in Texas time. And we're going to cover several topics. And as we know in Jewish news, there's new topics every day, every moment. So as soon as we think we have everything done the day before, we need to kind of start over. As we know, Abbas has been stripped of his award. BDS doubled down on their anti-Semitism. And we'll talk about the Saudi-Israel Railway, as well as a letter from BDS regarding Abbas being stripped of the award. As always, we'll have our host, Meir Halevi Weinstein, on momentarily. I'm the not-so-silent partner hiding out in our South Texas studios. Meir's up there in Toronto. We hope people listening all over.
שבוע טוב לכם, אזרחי ישראל. הערב אני שמח לבשר לכם בשורה גדולה. ישראל נמצאת במוקד של פרויקט בינלאומי חסר תקדים, פרויקט שיחבר תשתיות בין אסיה לאירופה. החיבור הזה יגשים חזון רב שנים, שישנה את פני המזרח התיכון, את פניה של ישראל, והוא גם ישפיע על העולם כולו. החזון הזה מתחיל בהודו, עובר דרך איחוד האמירויות, ערב הסעודית, ירדן, ישראל, ומגיע לאירופה. אני מברך על ההודעה שנמסרה היום על ידי ארצות הברית, הודו, ערב הסעודית, האיחוד האירופי, איחוד האמירויות, וכן צרפת, איטליה וגרמניה. הם הודיעו על השקתו של מיזם פורץ דרך לפיתוח מסדרון כלכלי מהודו דרך המזרח התיכון לאירופה. ואני שמח לבשר לכם, אזרחי ישראל, שהמדינה שלנו, מדינת ישראל, תהווה צומת מרכזי במסדרון הכלכלי הזה. מסילות הרכבת שלנו ונמלי הים שלנו יפתחו שער חדש מהודו דרך המזרח התיכון ועד לאירופה, וגם בחזרה, מאירופה להודו, דרך ירדן, ערב הסעודית ואיחוד האמירויות הערביות. אני מבקש להודות לנשיא ארצות הברית, ג'ו ביידן ולממשלו, על המאמץ הרב שהביא אותנו להודעה ההיסטורית היום. לפני מספר חודשים ארצות הברית פנתה אלינו בעניין הגשמת ההזדמנות ההיסטורית הזאת. ומאז היא ניהלה מגעים דיפלומטיים נמרצים כדי להביא לפריצת הדרך של היום. החזון שלה מעצב מחדש את פני אזורנו ומאפשר להפוך חלום למציאות. המזל לכלול סלילת מסילות רכבת, הנחת צינורות מימן, זאת האנרגיה של העתיד, הנחת סיבי תקשורת אופטיים, הנחת קווי חשמל ועוד תשתיות. מדינת ישראל תרתום את כל היכולות שלה, את כל הניסיון שלה, במלוא התנופה והמחויבות למימוש פרויקט שיתוף פעולה שהוא הגדול ביותר בהיסטוריה שלנו. כל משרדי הממשלה יונחו על ידי להירתם להגשמת החזון הזה. אני הטלתי על המטה לביטחון לאומי במשרדי לרכז את עבודת המטה הלאומית וגם לתאם תיאום הדוק עם ארצות הברית ומדינות אחרות כדי שהחזון הזה יהפוך למציאות בהקדם האפשרי. היום הזה הוא יום בשורה לכל אזרחי ישראל, בשורה שמובילה אותנו לעבר עידן חדש של השתלבות ושיתוף פעולה אזורי ועולמי, ייחודי וחסר תקדים. יחד נעשה ויחד נצליח.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I want to wish everyone a Shana Tova, Happy New Year to everyone. Just a few days away. And as we look back, it's been quite a year. It's been a year filled with such a rise in anti-Semitism worldwide, attacks against Israel. However, we're actually ending the year on a high note. There's a major deal being made, which is connecting India, Saudi Arabia, to Israel, to Europe. Israel is going to be the conduit for the Middle East to supply Europe with goods, and going the opposite direction as well, the conduit supplying the Middle East with European goods as well. This is going to be taking place at the port in Haifa at the G20 just last weekend. This was announced. There's going to be a connection with train, boat, transport, trucks. It's amazing. Israel is rising to become a superpower in the Middle East, and that's how we conclude the year. Yes, there's a lot of noise from Israel about left-wing Jews joining with Arabs, protesting against the elected government, the Netanyahu-led government. They're throwing all kinds of defamation. They're challenging every step this government goes, and they're trying to create an atmosphere of fear and that Israel is close to the abyss. It's so far from that. Israel is rising. The GDP is close to, right now, 600 billion annually. And with these deals, and I should also mention the natural gas deals, Israel's going to be supplying, they're supplying already a little bit, but it's going to be a lot more natural gas. And therefore, the GDP in the next few years will actually exceed $1 trillion and more, and the sky's the limit. It's unbelievable what's going on. But while that's going on, terrorism, the Islamic Jihad, Hamas, other groups continue to attack Jews, try to attack Jews. Hezbollah in Lebanon is pointing missiles at Israel. Iran is intent to try to destroy Israel. And while that hate is going on, the president of the Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas, makes a statement just a week ago. Makes a statement justifying Hitler murdering Jews, murdering 6 million Jews. He got caught. He was exposed. Mahmoud Abbas. He was exposed, and he received worldwide condemnation. It reached such a point that it shook up the BDS. They didn't know what to do. They're under the microscope now. Do you support him? Do you support this? And so while Mahmoud Abbas and the Palestinian Authority is left out in the cold right now, while Israel is making these unbelievable deals and everybody is going to be prospering, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Morocco, Europe, Israel, not Mahmoud Abbas, in the freezer right now. He's taking a cold shower. It didn't even hit him yet. But the BDS organizations, they actually sent out a letter. They published a letter. They published a letter distancing themselves from Mahmoud Abbas. They try to present themselves always as the good guys, humanitarians. All they want is justice. That's what they say. That's what they say. And so they sent this letter out. They published it on social media, and we read the letter. And they condemned Mahmoud Abbas. And they had these so-called BDS academics who signed the letter. And they fooled some people. J Space Canada, which is the equivalent of J Street, actually fell for the letter. They thought it was a great thing. But what we did some basic research into who the signatories of the letter are. And what we found, every single signatory to this letter is anti-Semitic, compares Israel to Nazi Germany, compares Israel and Jews to Nazi Germany. The first signatory of the letter, first person who signed it, he compares Jews to rats. Can you believe this? They deny the Holocaust. That's why they're so loud in attacking the IRA definition of anti-Semitism. You see, when you make Holocaust comparisons, comparing Israel and the Jewish people to Nazi Germany, that's anti-Semitism 101. It's as basic as that. I believe we have some information that we could share on the screen that could show the names of these people, of some of the people anyways, who were involved with this letter.
Let me first go and give a little background on the speech Abbas gave before the letter. I think that although probably everybody is familiar with it, let's hear a little bit of Abbas himself and then the letter. So without any further ado, Mayor, I'll keep you on so you could stop at any time and make a comment, but let's hear what he had to say.
Let's get this letter, get the speech, sure.
So basically in 2015, he received this medal, this big honor, the biggest honor given in France, in Paris, from the president. But after hearing about Abbas's blatant anti-Semitic, history-distorting, revisionist tirade, the mayor of Paris, Anne Hidalgo, stripped the Jew hater of this recognition, what really wasn't really deserved in the first place. And he certainly proved that to everybody, both Palestinians and Jews and anti-Semites everywhere. So what did he have to say? So there he goes, stripped of his letter. And there we have the president of Paris who's saying to Abbas, what do you got to say? Oh, there she goes. That's her commentary to Abbas. So according to the European Union spokesperson, Abbas's speech made false and grossly misleading remarks about Jews and anti-Semites, and Great Britain's foreign ministry agreed that it distorted the Holocaust. The European Union, France, Great Britain finally adjoining the Abraham Accords. So what did Abbas actually say?
من نسمع عنهم انه يقولون سامية ولا سامية، على الاقل اليهود الاشكناز ليسوا ساميين. عندما قالوا ان هتلر قتل اليهود لانهم يهود، وان اوروبا تكره اليهود لانهم يهود، لا، شرحت بالضبط على انهم حاربوا هؤلاء بسبب وظيفتهم الاجتماعية وليس بسبب دياناتهم. هتلر كان في الحرب العالمية الأولى شويش، كل الناس تعرف، وقال إنه اليهود يعني حارب اليهود لأنهم كانوا يعملون على أساس الربا والمال، يعني يخربون من وجهة نظره هذا، ولذلك هو يكرههم. فنحن نريد أن نوضح هذه النقطة فقط، انه لا سامية، والسامية لا توجد هنا، لا توجد هنا. إذا علينا، إذا أردنا أن نقول من هو الذي اخترع لنا هذه الدولة، هي بريطانيا وأمريكا، وليس بريطانيا وحدها. أقول هذا لنعرف من الذي يجب أن نتوجه إليه لنتهمه بأنه هو عدونا، وهو الذي آذانا، وهو الذي أخذ منا وطننا. يريدون الهجرة، وإنما هجروا بالضغط والإكراه والقتل وغيره.
So, Mary, just right before we get you back on the screen, and we'll talk about the actual letter, I'll post a letter on the screen from the BDS people who basically used anti-Semitism to deny anti-Semitism. But first, so Abbas, due to his new place in the world, there's another award which was given to him. And it's going to be the first annual Muhammad Abbas International Lack of Achievement Award. And there he is when he got the initial award. There's the new award. Take it away, Mayor.
Look, it'll be a real mitzvah for the government of Israel to deport Muhammad out of the country, out of Israel. That's right. He has no right. He came from Tunisia as part of the Oslo Accords agreement. They brought him and Yasser Arafat and other terrorists to Israel, thinking that they're going to be making peace. This is a man who admires Hitler, and he has no business walking around in the land of Israel, period. Even in the territories in Ramallah, no, he should be sent out packing. And he's got nothing to do with the agreements that Israel is making with Saudi Arabia and other Arab and Islamic countries as we move forward to make Israel stronger, more prosperous, and more successful. I would say, as part of the discussions with Saudi Arabia, that Israel should be and say that Mecca is the holiest place in the world for Muslims, and we have no claim to that. But just as we respect that, we expect the Muslim world and the Arab world to respect that our holiest place is Har Bayit, the Temple Mount. And let's start a new chapter as we move forward. Like I said, the BDS, it caught them by surprise what Muhammad Abbas said, and know how to handle the scrutiny from the media. Therefore, they issued a letter condemning Abbas. Certainly not condemning anti-Semitism. They all call for the destruction of Israel. They all compare Israel to Nazis, compare Jews and every virus you could think of. So we have the letter. Can we show that letter?
We can. Let's finish off here. Okay, Mayor, well, we've already been back to you, so let's go and show the letter now. So let's pause it there for a moment. So basically, I've highlighted some key points, but what it is a letter which is making believe they're condemning Abbas for his anti-Semitism, but then they go and they pledge anti-Semitism. The undersigned, academics, writers, artists, activists, anarchists, and all other Jew haters, basically they adamantly reject anti-Semitism. But yet they go on to say the Palestinian people are sufficiently burdened by Israeli settler colonization, dispossession, occupation, and oppression, and that they're blaming Israel and Jews are being supported by pro-Israel forces which perpetuate the Israeli apartheid. So on the one hand, they're saying they disagree with Abbas, but they're at least as bad or worse than Abbas in reality. Mayor, any comments before I show you the list of the signers and say a little about them?
No, let's go with the list of the people. No. Just get to the people
Okay.
they hate.
Now let me get the list of who's who in Jew hatred on the screen. So basically, obviously, it's a long list. And if I were to check every single one, either on the Canary Mission page or on the memory page, or even you look at the Wikipedia pages and you see how blatantly anti-Semitic all these signers are who are saying they disagree with Abbas. What's interesting is as soon as they sent out the letter, before we had a chance to even look at that, there's a group of people who came out who are condemning the people who are condemning Abbas. Okay, you can get that. These are some individuals who feel that to condemn Abbas is basically not the thing to do. So, for example, we've got Zaid Abu Odeh, who wants to know what's so reprehensible and anti-Semitic about the letter. Then we've got Free Palestine, of course, is saying your intentions are good, talking to those who signed the letter, but punching down isn't doing what you think it is. I think it's important to hear the original version of his statements before jumping on the bandwagon and accusing him of anti-Semitism. Well, you all just heard the statements. So that's maybe Free Palestine didn't see the statements, but there's no doubt that he's blatantly being anti-Semitic. And then we have Hero Palestine, which calls the signers of the letter a list of shame, although they claim to not be supportive of Abbas, but everything he said was just right. Those who you defend are murderers and thieves, stole our homeland. You should never lie to get their approval. So he's accusing the signers of lying. So let's see, who are these signers? Let me get that up there on the screen next. So we've got Rashid Khalida, who signed the letter, who has said a group of people, meaning Jews, a lot of them in Israel and some in the United States, who live in a world of their own, these people, meaning Jews, are going to infest our government. Then we've got Raja Shehada, who is the founder of Al-Haq. What's Al-Haq? Al-Haq is linked to the Popular Front for Liberation of Palestine, which is a terrorist organization by all countries, basically US, EU, Canada, Israel. And if that's not enough, signing the letter, we also have Nora Erekat. You will be marked as anti-Semites just supporting Palestine, even though Palestine past and present has admired Judaism as a religion. Really? What book is she reading? And then we have Tariq Bakoni, who says that Palestinians are a canvas against which Jewish psychodramas play themselves out. And she signed this letter condemning anti-Semitism. Now we have some more. These are just a few of the high points. It gets worse. We have Lisa Tator. Okay, Lisa Tator. I don't think she's related to Hakuna Matata, but Israel as a racial regime that is grounded in Zionist adoption of internalization of European conception of race, which positions whites as racially superior to non-whites and Jews as racially superior to Arabs. So how is she signing a letter condemning anti-Semitism when she is a blatant, unapologetic anti-Semite? She goes on to say it was only outside of Europe that European Jews could finally establish themselves as a superior European white race. And she's condemning Abbas for being an anti-Semite. A little irony there. Who else can we find? Let's skip forward a little bit. Oh, yeah, there she is. That's Alana. Just a few more. We've got Shireen Sakali, who went on to say that, talking about two terrorists who arrested, that two of our birds have been captured, praying for their well-being, honoring their bravery. She also went on to say that, welcome to Israel, we're massacring Palestinians is self-defense, and calling out war crimes as terror and stealing land as democracy. That's somebody who signed the letter condemning Abbas for being an anti-Semite. I don't have time, nor do you have time, to listen to everybody in the list, but you can find the list online now and just go and Google them. Of course, the leader of the list is this guy. Of course, very cute, handsome-looking young man. named Mohammed El-Kurd, who is condemning the anti-Semitism of Abbas.
Netanyahu and the Israelis at large are thirsty for Palestinian blood.
Okay. Let me also point out an American, a U.S. special envoy to Israel, who is trying to pressure various Israeli governments to embrace Mahmoud Abbas, Martin Indyk. Martin Indyk posted on his social media account on Twitter just the other day. He said, "I have been despairing about how to respond to Abu Mazen's profoundly anti-Semitic diatribe. How could someone who has treated me as a personal friend for 3 decades and at the same time harbor such hateful views of my people?" Think about that. Martin Indyk is Jewish. He was appointed as the special envoy by the U.S. governments in the past to pressure Israel to embrace Mahmoud Abbas, this admirer of Hitler, this person who has a policy, pay for slay. You kill Jews, you get money. You're an Arab family in the territories. You're the mother, you have lots of kids, lots. One kills Jews and he gets killed by the IDF as a result. She's ecstatic. She's getting a pension for life, a substantial pension for life. Martin Indyk facilitated that. Martin Indyk has blood on his hands by trying to and pressure Israeli governments to support Mahmoud Abbas and the Palestinian Authority and to give them money. And Martin Indyk saw to it that money was given to Mahmoud Abbas. Let's go to JSpace. Let me get you the statement from JSpace. Just one moment. Just looking for it. It won't be too difficult to. This is pertinent. They were overjoyed by the letter. Okay, let's see. With respect to the letter, they put out a statement. JSpace Canada, a principled stance and important letter from Palestinian academics, artists, and intellectuals, not only because of its content, but because it recognizes that we must build broad coalitions in order to fight hate in all its forms. No one is free until we are all free. We're talking about free. Every single peace agreement that Israel proposed to those who call themselves Palestinians or the Palestinian Authority has been rejected. The Oslo Accords were signed in '94. Look how many years later. Israel destroyed. And those so-called academics, like we pointed out, their statements, they compare Israel and Jews to Nazis. They also deny the Holocaust. They also claim that Israel and Jews are committing a Holocaust on them. And J-Space embraces them and wants us to be fooled, just like Martin Indyk wanted us to be fooled. However, he woke up. He snapped out of it right now. What's he going to do about it? I have no idea. But J-Space, still the delusion. Now, like I said from the start of the show, Israel is moving in a new direction with these peace agreements and with the involving India, Saudi Arabia, Israel, and Europe. This is huge. This is historical. This is the way to end the year on a high note and look forward to the new starting as we move forward in a major positive direction. So with all that said, we've had very important shows this past year. We've had all kinds of incredible guests join us to get the word out. So on behalf of Israel Now, I want to thank everyone who has joined us this past year. And next year it's going to be even more exciting. I believe we can list many of the people who were with us, the various professors, lawyers, intellectuals, journalists, researchers, lecturers, great people we had this year. We made an impact. Remember, we were responsible for Roger Waters, that although he did appear in Toronto at Scotiabank Arena, it was because of us. Because of us that a lot of the funding for that concert was sent over to Israel, to Israeli charitable organizations seeking peace. Something Roger Waters did not want the money to go to, but that's where the profits went to. So there's a lot of work that we've been doing the past year, and a lot more work we have to do. Do we have for the screen to show those who were with us the past year?
We do have that. And as our last show before Rosh Hashana, I'd like to wish everybody Rosh Hashana. And Mayor, I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I'm controlling it here. I'm going to take about 5 minutes to talk as a lead-in, because I also wanted to mention to everybody that yesterday was 9/11. And although it seems like it doesn't get all the memorial deserving that it should get, which is kind of interesting because so many other less significant traumatic occurrences in world history get special days, special weeks, but everybody seems to have forgotten that 9/11 was the worst attack on American soil by Islamo-fascist terrorists, or by anybody for that matter. So I'm going to take the screen for a few minutes, Mayor, and then I'll give you the last word after I make a couple
of that. Let me just add something, Gary. Let me just add something
Go ahead.
before that.
Go for it.
With respect to 9/11, that on the anniversary of 9/11, Joe Biden gave billions of dollars to. That is significant. That's where his head is at. And Joe Biden was reluctant to embrace the Abraham Accords and to embrace the idea of peace between Israel and Saudi Arabia and these deals. He was forced to go back on what he wanted, which is not good for Israel. He is now promoting the Abraham Accords and these deals with Saudi Arabia, but that was reluctantly. And he was against Israel shipping natural gas to Europe. Now, because of the war in the Ukraine with Russia, that has changed. So he's reluctant, and it's happening for Israel because who's in charge of everything? No matter how much you plot against Israel, God's in charge. That's what it says in the Torah. That's how it is. That's the emes. That's the truth. Go ahead, Gary.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk a little bit. And, as everybody's listening, you just keep tuned, because we also do From the Temple Mount to Parsha. And there's nobody else who's doing that live that I'm aware of other than us. So keep your eyes open on our Facebook pages of Israel Now as well as Never Again, so you can know when that is. And it's midnight Eastern Standard Time because it's 7 a.m. And I felt a little compelled to give at least a 1-minute commentary on the Torah and on 9/11 as we close out the end of the year. So 22 years ago is when 9/11 occurred. And as we know in Hebrew, letters and numbers have special meaning. So 22 years ago is special. Why is 22 special? Because the 22nd letter of the Hebrew alphabet is the final letter of the alphabet, which is Tav. And the meaning of Tav is sign, which God told Ezekiel to put Tav on the foreheads of the people. And those who were wicked had it inscribed in blood. And speaking of blood and blood libel, and we heard Palestinian terrorists and BDS people talking about this blood libel once again. Well, those who are righteous, God told them to put Tav in ink. Those who were wicked, put it in blood. Tav can represent Techia, which means life, or Tammuz, which means death, which is interesting. On the anniversary, the 22nd anniversary, the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which can mean life or death, this is what they're doing in the Judea, Samaria, and the Israeli lands that the Palestinians are occupying. It is hard to believe. As if they're naive to the fact that Muslims died, Jews died, Christians died, Hindus died, atheists died. People died in 9/11. We're not just Jews. It was everybody. And they're celebrating, giving out candy, and they're having their children celebrate 9/11. This isn't 22 years ago. This is this year on 9/11. It's a national holiday in the lands that the Palestinians are occupying. That's our homeland. How could any rational human being, regardless of your background, your ethnicity, your religion, your belief system, think that this is appropriate to be celebrating the death and the tragedies that affected so many people, so many lives 22 years ago? On 9/11, 22 years ago, there were people celebrating the devastation. And we wonder why the children grow up to be terrorists. This is how the children celebrate. So as Mayor said, Mayor, I'm going to not get back to you quite yet. I'm going to give this little closing commentary on all of those people who have participated with us this year and on Rosh Hashana. 5784. May you all be inscribed in the book of life. This is last year in Dubai. Who would have thought that it'd be a coca blower in Dubai and a kosher restaurant and rabbis? Not a bad Siyah Hagadol. Then on the mainland of the United Arab Emirates, so here, and I and all of us at Israel Now would like to thank our viewers, guests, and proactive Jews and non-Jews everywhere for identifying, confronting, and fighting anti-Semitism. And as Einstein said, and we like to repeat and remind everybody, that the world's a dangerous place, not because of those who do evil, but because of those who look on and do nothing. And all the people who helped us this year and years that have passed, We thank them from the bottom of our hearts for fighting anti-Semitism with us, with Baruch Ben Yosef, Ryan Bellerose, Jeffrey Lax, Rabbi Ben Packer, Martin Sherman. Thane is a regular guest on our show, and Mayor Jolowitz. We got Henry Shiner, Ron East, Elizabeth Burney, who, by the way, Elizabeth Burney was supposed to be on. She couldn't be on because she was stuck at a railway station in New York City. So she did an episode live from her cell phone on a railroad station. That's not dedication. No, I don't know what is. Barry Shaw. Of course, last year, the following year, we had Amir Avivi and Mordechai Kadar. David Shawn, who is President Trump's attorney in his impeachment hearings. So we'd like to thank everyone who's been with us in the past. And all those who I didn't have time to find your picture, we thank you as well if I left you out. These soldiers are fighting for anti-Semitism. They're fighting on the battlefields, on the Temple Mount, in the courts, on our campuses in the media in Israel, and in the diaspora. Mayor, I'm going to give you the last word.
Well, thank you very much, everyone. Please share this. I want to wish everyone a Shana Tova. I hope everyone's families are safe, doing well, going to enjoy Rosh Hashana together. It's so important for families to be together for Rosh Hashana. As Jewish families, we move forward. We form a cohesive unit, part of our people together. We appreciate our people even much more. And therefore, we appreciate the gift from God, state of Israel. Such a blessing. After 2,000 years of wandering, that now we have a state of Israel. It started with, 1948, 600,000 Jews. Right now is over 7 million Jews in Israel and growing. And the country is gone from, Israel would be exporting oranges. Now Israel is exporting technology. And if there are countries suffering from water shortages, Israel is on the cutting edge of water technology, now natural gas. In the artificial intelligence, Israel will be in artificial intelligence technology as well. So there's so much to be grateful for. We have to wake up and sometimes pinch ourselves. Am I just imagining this, or is this really happening? Well, the blessing is it is happening in our time. All this is happening in our time. So in Shana, and we'll be with you as we move forward in the new year. Thank you very much.
I'm going to end with Hatikva and Mayor. And everybody who is watching this evening, remember, this is on YouTube. So if you didn't get a chance to share it, you have people who might enjoy watching this, please share this with them. It'll also be on our Twitter page. So again, the recording is available. We're going to close out with Hatikva, and everybody have a good Rosh Hashanah and a good Yom Kippur and a good fast.
Yeah.